All right, so welcome to the November 15th meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission. I have a notice here pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may do so by accessing the Zoom link in the agenda. We will post a record of this meeting on the Easthampton Media website as soon as we are able. Okay. There's no one here for a public speak, but we can, I believe, have a vote on our agenda from the last meeting. Did everybody see that John sent that out and have a chance to review that?
Meeting minutes in time. So, Paul, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting as presented.
Second the motion.
Eric, you weren't at the last meeting, according to the minutes, at least.
Yep. So I'm going to make the motion, but I'm going to abstain from the vote.
Sure if you could. All right.
Yep.
So Eric motions and then JT seconds. Okay. Any discussion on the meeting minutes? No. All right. Well, let's move forward then. We're going to do a roll call vote. So motion to approve the October meeting minutes. We'll start with you, Bob.
Okay, yes, definitely.
Okay, JT?
Yes.
Okay, Andy?
Yes.
And Brian?
That's a yes.
All right, and it's unanimous. Meeting minutes are approved. Okay. So let's go on to our next agenda item is 2021 park season.
Hey, didn't we have yet other minutes from last meeting that we couldn't approve? Can we approve those?
The August 22nd.
Yeah. Do we have enough?
I don't remember who was there at that one.
I was not. And
Andy, you're on mute.
I don't think I was either.
Yeah, we don't have enough for.
Okay. We need Jim? Okay.
We need Jim for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah. I'm not sure with this agenda item. We're pretty much at the end of the season now for 2021.
Yeah, so this is just to wrap up. Park season's closed for the most part. We are allowing, actually, we should congratulate the Easthampton high school boys soccer team is in the Final Four for the state tournament. It's a new state tournament structure. And they were the number 2 seed, and they are playing Wednesday night to go to the state championship, which will be played on Saturday. So not only are we excited about that they've gotten that far, but our Camp Nonotuck director, Andrew Lawrence, is the head coach. So it makes it extra sweet that we have one of our staff coaching that team, and they're doing so well. So they're still coming into the park and going down to varsity field to practice. And, we want to do whatever we can to support them. So the other reason is we have left pickleball for walkers to come in. We'll probably leave that open until Thanksgiving. A lot of interest in people, even though it's cold, they still want to get outside and play some pickleball. So we're leaving those courts open for people that want to either walk or bike in. But when Thanksgiving comes around, we'll shut them down for good. And then also there's been some concerns already with the dog walking situation with dogs off leashes. We've had a couple of complaints already this early into the park being officially closed for the year. Sam sent out a Facebook announcement today regarding a lot of things when we take reservations for next year, talking about the leash law for dogs and, the park being closed and when we reopen and things like that. So she sent out a nice note to everyone today that helps explain the process. So that's where we are with park season. So we are closed, but, there's still a few activities going on through the end of the week.
All right. So we did have our Harvest Fest.
And thank you for those who came and helped out. Paul was there, and the staff, maintenance, Matt from maintenance was there for the day, and Sam and myself and all the security folks were there. Big crowd, great event. The bonfire was a big hit as usual. The movies, we had 2 short cartoons that were very well received. A lot of families there, a lot of kids and parents, grandparents, things like that. So it was a real nice evening. The fire department, thank you for them for coming down. They brought their ladder truck. It was a huge hit. And it actually helped us because they were able to put the spotlights on for the candy handout as well. So the mayor came down and helped out as well. It was just a really good kind of soft back into events kind of thing. But it was shockingly where we have 30 something pumpkins for the pumpkin carving contest. A really outstanding job the folks did carving pumpkins as well. Tough task. We don't want to name judges just in case anybody's disgruntled with not winning, but the judges thank you for doing that as well. Just a really all around positive event and no problems whatsoever. So thank you for everybody for getting that done.
I know that it was fantastic, John. I was really shocked at how many people came out.
So was I.
Especially because it's such a limited event. But yeah, it was packed, and thank God you had enough candy.
Barely.
Yeah. Well, it'll be really exciting next year to have. I'm expecting we'll have kind of a normal park event.
Yeah, let's hope so. Fingers crossed. That's the plan. That's what we're going to be planning for.
Yeah, knock on wood over here. All right. Unless anybody else says anything else about Harvest Fest, but we can move on to the next item, Easthampton Basketball Association programming, or just programming in general.
Yeah, EBA is having their season this year. They gave us the request about a week and a half ago for the schools. We've submitted those requests to the schools department, just waiting to hear back what availability they have, what kind of potential rules they'll have regarding the EBA. We posted the school supervisor positions. Looks like we'll have a lot of the same returning school supervisors from a couple of years ago, which is good that they know the lay of the land. We're also looking to bring back adult basketball if we can with the limited gym space that's in town. We did put in for Pepin and Whitebrook for EBA. I know Pepin might be a little more limited, but those are the 2 facilities that were put in for. So we're just waiting back to the school department and get their thoughts and on how they feel about everything.
I'm curious about, is there any plan for what will happen if Pepin is no longer available for basketball space, or how will that impact EVA?
I don't know what their plan is. They have their own little separate board. I'm not sure. I mean, it's been on the radar for a while. I'm not sure what their numbers are, or their plans. I haven't seen what they have for numbers or anything as of yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on now to CPA request.
So as I discussed at last meeting, I've had meetings with many different consultants and folks, and so we'll start with the stone bathroom in the cemetery building, and in the cemetery itself, actually getting those designated as historical. PVPC, it's $5,730 for their consultant work. I've outlined all the consultant work. For the CPA, the goal of this project is to update existing forms and prepare new forms for the purpose of meeting the standards of state, local, and national registry for historical designation. The facilities include the Stonehouse bathroom, Brookside Cemetery building, and Brookside ground inventory. So she's going to do a lot of work getting that prepared. There's quite a lot of information forms that need to be filled out, and Shannon this is right up her alley. She's she's done this before for other facilities, so we're excited about that. One of the goals is to, as we've talked about, is getting leveraging historical dollars to get that work done, to open up different potential grant streams to get that, because we will keep fighting to get that stone building reopened and back to its glory. It's a very important piece of the park and the history of the park as well. So we're looking forward to that. The other two is the Nationwide Aquatics. I met with Rob from them, and he put a proposal together, and he's going to do his work for no more than $5,000. He's going to do it on an hourly basis with about 40 hours committed, he thinks, at $120 an hour. So plus maybe some minor expenses. But so he's at $5,000 cap for that at the most. And then the Beta Group, which is looking at accessibility, shade structures, expanding the pool deck area, trees, things, general beautification around the pool area, and connectivity to the spray park and accessibility, and then future potential accessibility and if we expand into certain areas outside of the pool area. So and actually solar too is one of the things we're looking at as well. So the Beta Group is more pool deck out, and Nationwide Aquatics is functionality of the pool itself, filter house, the pool structure, lines, anything to basically do with the pool operations itself. So that's kind of, they're separate. They both have their expertise. So that is going to CPA. I have that meeting on Thursday evening to discuss those applications for funding from them.
All right. That sounds like a lot. That's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Thank you, John, for staying on top of all that.
Quick question on all that. So, John, is there anything that we all as commissioners can do as far as advocacy goes to try to ensure that that funding happens?
Yeah, if you want to show up to the meeting and support it on Thursday night via Zoom, that's great. I stated in the application that it's on our master plan, it's on our capital improvement plan. It's supported by you guys already. It's supported by the mayor, in planning department. So there, I put the key pieces that have all given support towards that project. So I think, it doesn't hurt to have more attending and support. I think it could be a 2 meeting. They usually like to stretch these out to a couple of meetings. Hopefully they have enough information where we can get it push forward and get it onto city council moving forward. But it is kind of short money, and for what we're getting in return, I think is really good value for us moving forward.
Okay,
That
great.
depends
Thank
who's
you.
pushing the project, John. Oh, did I say that out loud?
All right. All right, if everybody is good, or no, there are no other questions on the CPA business, we could go on to 2022 budget.
So budget's going pretty well. The only thing that is popping up, and this is based on not having George around and having the tree warden budget. When the tree warden budget was in our department, George would include some park work that needed to be done as when we sent out the bid for the entire city package. So we don't have that connection anymore because it's with the DPW. So there is tree work to be done. I've requested some finance for that, $7,500 to get. There's 5 trees in the park that are questionable in areas where we have concern, and then 1 overhanging limb that's near a picnic site. So we're hoping to get that approved and that work done in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Okay. Well, let's go on to talk about the bike path.
All right.
I know we had
So
a lot of discussion last month.
yeah, so we talked about this last month about Brian reaching out to the neighbors to get their thoughts about a potential bike path that would go on the upper side of Daly Field. Since we've had that discussion last month, and actually as of this morning, it has changed the structure of that bike path project. It looks like it's going to be moved to Park Street. So the feasibility study that was done for going into the park and coming through and going into the back there is no longer going to be presented for the February grant cycle. Jeff Bagg and I had a meeting this morning about this and how the DOT, fixing sidewalks on Park Street and creating a connectivity to the schools and redoing the infrastructure on a main street like that and using that funds towards that project is wise for the city, a good resource for the city to use to get a lot of those improvements that are needed for that street. So I completely understand and support they're moving their strategy away from the neighborhood, our neighborhood, and the park at this time. And one of the things we have a conference call coming up on the 30th of November for a mass trails grant through the state that we're both will be attending and looking at smaller dollar amounts, but to try to do some upgrades to our existing trails in the park. So instead of focusing on Daly Field in the high school area, we're going to look at grants to focus interior design for the park and upgrading some, whether it's bridges or widening trails or doing certain things. We're gonna attack it that way at this point and basically table any thoughts or discussions about putting an extension of the bike path on Daly Field and then out into the neighborhood.
Okay.
Brian might have more to add regarding that, but because I know he did a really nice job reaching out to the neighbors and Jeff, our city planner, is one of the neighbors in that neighborhood as well. So they all kind of had some discussions and some reservations, to be honest with you, about the feasibility study and the plan that was being presented. So I think tabling any further discussions on that is wise, and maybe concentrate on the interior of the park, which is something I always like to address.
Do you have anything you want to add, Brian? You are on mute.
No, I completely agree with, with John and his statements there. So if it comes up again, we'll revisit that and at a different time. So for right now, we can table it.
Okay.
Like I said, I want to make it. We are definitely supportive of the planning department of the city's moving forward on Park Street as well. I think it's a good plan. I've seen the plan. It'll be good to create safe access, safe routes for kids to get to school from the bike path and from points all over the city.
Well, it's a shocking turn of events.
It is. Because it was this morning that it hit.
Yes. All right. Well, I guess we'll consider that tabled then, and maybe never to return. We only have one other agenda item, which would be our old and continuing business.
One of the things I want to ask is, there's a couple of things. So the Rotary is interested in putting a flagpole at Pulaski Park on the Rotary itself. They wanted to know our feelings on that. And I said, I have no problems putting a nice flagpole with a flag in the center of town. I said, the only thing that I would make sure that they did as part of this project, it has to be lit up. So making sure they have lighting for it and all that stuff is important, especially in such a visible area. We have one, we put one in at Katie Route, or we refurbished one at Katie Route, and we put a solar cap, lighted solar cap on it to keep it lit. They would like to do a hardwired electrical, but I told them I would bring that up. I don't think it's nothing urgent on their end. He just wanted to get Gordy reached out to me and wanted to get a feeling on what the commission thought, and I have no problem with it. I think it's a good idea.
Andy, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So John, who would take care of it with the park? I mean, the flag and all that stuff. Would that be, once they put it up, would it be your responsibility, or would
it'd probably
it
be on us? But I'm sure I could always ask Rotary for, $50, $70, whatever it is, for new flags to be put up.
Okay. Okay.
But if it comes to when flags are lowered for the city, for whether it's a nation memorial or a local concern, that we get the directive to put the flags at half staff, it's something we'd go out, and the maintenance crew would go out and take care of.
Okay.
How did the solar cap on that other pole work out? Has it been adequate and sufficient?
Yeah.
Is there a reason that they don't want to do?
I bought two when we did it, just to make sure we had a backup. But as far as I know, it's still. Last time I checked, wasn't too long ago. It was still working. So,
is there a reason that they're opposed to a solar solution?
No. Only the fact that is, which I did take pictures of us. So the fire department has to come with the ladder truck, and to get on top of the flagpole to put the cap on there. So it is more of a labor intensive thing to change out those solar caps for those lighting, where if it's ground or something that's shooting up at it, you can change the bulb. Everything you're dealing with is on the ground. You don't have to bring in lifts and everything else that's associated with it.
How often do those solar caps have to be changed out, John?
We're 2 years in right now and still good, so seems to be all right. it'll probably, now that we're talking about it, another week or two. Probably
It'll go.
I mean, I don't want to split hairs about it, and I don't want to make a big, thing. Like, I'm not going to be against them doing a hardwire one, but solar's, just better in general, I think, from an environmental standpoint. But also, perhaps not if it has to be replaced so often, and the materials of that too.
Yeah, getting the, I don't know what I don't think the DPW has a lift. I think they always rent it out. So that's the only concern, is getting, the cap on it. And it was quite the ordeal to get that done.
Yeah, I am in complete agreement with Paul on this one. Like, again, don't want to split hairs, but I think that, going solar whenever possible is something that we should be doing. So that's just my 2 cents. Again, for me, it's not a deal breaker, but I'm in agreement with Paul on this.
Yeah, if they go like a 12 or 15 footer, it makes it a little more reasonable. Katie Route, I believe, is 20 or 25 feet. I mean, you need equipment to get up and it's not installing the solar lighting was not a quick process either. So there's some work to be entailed, but like I said, it's not for another, I'm sure they're not looking until next summer to install or to look at this. And, by then we'll see where our solar light is at Katie Route. And if it's still going well after 3 years, then I think, if we have to do it every third or fourth year, it's worth it to go solar and as long as it's not a yearly process of changing out those things.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Eric and Paul on this. I mean, we have an example, already set about this, so it's not like they're going into this blind. If this one at Katie Route Park works and goes for 2 or 3 years at a time, I mean, that seems to me to be the logical choice. But like you said, it's not till next year, so we'll see what happens between now and then.
I can talk to them and say flagpole is, I'll have them write something up anyways and present it. This is more of just a, put it on your thought process. But, when I reach back out to them, I would let them know that they should really consider solar option for approval.
All right, that sounds good. Well, I'll be interested to see their proposal when they submit it.
And then the Main Street Cemetery, we've taken over the financial aspect, and Sam, it does clerical for them, and she's been working hard cataloging all this information for Main Street. It's been very difficult. I remapped out the cremation section and put, there was no mapping of anything, and so we've got that under control. I did that over the last week, and now we know who's where and how long they've been there, and moving forward, helping out the Main Street Cemetery and hopefully provide the proper services to the families that need it when burial time comes.
How was the process of reconciling the map of the existing plots? I remember hearing that there were some issues there.
There was no map. I had to start from scratch. I've done it before with our cemetery and some others. So I just recreated and remapped it out and had some help with some folks to let me know what their lot was. So that helped us kind of get a point where we were. So after that and taking pictures of all the stones that are there and all the family members that are currently in there, and the names of everything, so to catalog it, we're in real good shape. Now there's a little bit left to do, but for the most part, we're in good shape to help out over at Main Street. for that cremation section.
Great. All right. Well, is there any other discussion for old and continuing business or any new business that someone would like to bring up for discussion?
I do have one quick thing, Paul. So I live in New City and got a card last week in the mail that the city is having an event or like an information session this upcoming Saturday at our park on the corner of Parsons and Federal. I have to work. The Saturday is the day I teach regularly. I just want to make sure that, and Jeff Bagg is going to be there. And basically it's a meeting about, it's a public meeting about the future of New City and improvements to neighborhood. I just want to make sure that that's on the park department's radar. John, if you've been involved in discussions, because it is one of our spaces that is very directly involved.
Yeah, good point, Eric. So yeah, there is it's going to be actually a walking tour through the neighborhood. Look at sidewalks. Look at the playground out front on the corner there. Looking at the property behind the old Parsons Street School. So I think there's four stations that you walk to and get information on that whole area there and the improvements. Yes, the planning department has kept me in the loop on this, and we're moving. Getting the feedback. I told them it was for as far as Saturdays, we're getting feedback from the neighbors is probably the most important aspect for that area, and then wherever we can jump in and provide resources or help or thoughts or anything like that, we'll move from there. So yeah, we are involved in that, and they're keeping me in the loop on that.
Okay, awesome, great, thank you so much.
All right.
And one more thing, I guess, is the jubilation. Lainey would probably be mad if I didn't mention that. That's the first Sunday in December. At Millside. So look for Facebook information on that. I think it's 10 years or something now of that.
I think 8
years.
I think, because we didn't
8
do
years,
it last year.
Oh yeah, 'cause there's a missing year in there. So
Give it to me again, John, sorry.
the jubilation is, Lainey, what the times in again? Can you throw the times out for us?
It's December 5th from 5 o'clock to 7:30. The fire department's trying. No, didn't we have problems with the fire truck? So they wanted to do a fire truck a long time ago, and they said they couldn't do it because it was too big to get into the parking lot.
I can't remember.
Well, the new chief wants to bring the Grinch and Santa both in on the fire truck.
Oh, nice.
So we might have them brought in, but I think they should be better off going through the back of the mills and dropping them off over
And
there.
this is at Millside?
Millside Park, yeah.
It'll be
We've
at
been doing
Millside.
it 8 years now, including, not including last year, because 2013 was the first year.
That's another thing to look for on your social media outlets and other spots to keep a heads up on. Look for information on that. That's all I have, Paul.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, then and actually related, just also as an FYI, the Given the Bird 5K road race is back in person again this year on Thanksgiving morning at 8:30 at Millside. The race is sold out, which we're very pleased with. So it should be a very, it should be a very low impact event. Usually we're all packed up and done by 10:30 in the morning. We will be raising in the area between $25,000 and $30,000 for the Easthampton Community Center. And just thanks again to the park department for their support.
Yeah, let us know if as next week, Eric, whatever we can do to help out with cones or things like that.
Definitely will do. I will probably come by to pick up some sawhorses at some point.
Yep, perfect.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
I got one more thing to ask. Can I? May I? We're discussing the Winterfest, and we were just because we're doing a couple new things this year that we used to do and we stopped doing because of COVID. But we were debating moving the fire from evening to afternoon. would there be a reason why not to do it during the day? You know, we have the bonfire, right?
Yes.
We thought about maybe, well, I got to talk to Mike Topsnick and make sure he's okay with it, but because we got the ice harvester coming and he's going to be doing the ice harvesting. I'm like, well, I can't imagine why we can't like we're not going to do marshmallows. We don't want anybody like handing around marshmallows, but we thought it'd be nice if people could warm up by the fire after they go out on the pond, pending weather. Pending weather.
We'll
Okay.
get the wood again as usual.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep you posted, but I'm going to talk to Mike first to make sure he doesn't mind.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Is there any other old, continuing, or new business? Okay, you've had your chance. Does anybody want to get out of here and have a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Bob,
Does
second.
anyone second
I
this
second
motion?
that.
All right, Bob seconds.
I said something anyhow.
All right. Discussion is closed. We're going to have a roll call vote on this motion to adjourn. Bob,
Yes.
JT,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Eric,
You bet your bippy.
and Brian.
Yes.
Okay, then we're unanimously adjourned.
We're adjourned. This is nothing to add. Just no meeting in December. We take the holidays off for December, so we don't have a meeting in December. January's meeting and February's meeting, two very important meetings. I get a packet out to everybody regarding policies, fees, structures like that for January, and February is budget approval time. So I'm just happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, happy to everybody, and we will not be meeting in December unless an emergency pops up, and I'll contact Paul, but we normally take December off.
All right, thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and see y'all in January, if not sooner.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Nice holidays, everybody.